This is Ethan, and I'm here with Dave, and together we are Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, episode 244-inch.
On this episode, we premiere our interview with UHJeff Nucera that we recorded right after his second and final day on the set of Weird Al-Gorithm Story back in February 2022.
It's Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
It's a podcast about Weird Al.
It's Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
Seriously, the whole podcast is about Weird Al.
Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
You don't have to listen, but we're glad you are.
Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
It was so much fun listening to our interview with UHJeff from 2022, last episode, Dave.
You know what? I absolutely agree. We should always wait 2.5 years after recording interviews before airing them, because I forgot everything that Jeff said back in 2022, and it's all brand new to me again.
You know you could just listen to episodes from 2.5 years ago and get that same experience, right?
Wait a minute. Are you telling me I can check out information about past episodes and guests over at 2000inch.com or weirdalpodcast.com?
Sure. Hey, since we had so much fun with our UHJeff interview from his first day on the set of Weird Al-Gorithm Story last episode, let's do it again this episode.
Yes, and then again next episode, and the episode after that, and the one after that.
Well, how about just this episode, since, we only recorded 2 of these with Jeff, and he was only on the set 2 days.
2 days so far.
Well, now, don't get ahead of yourself there, because right now, it's time for What's Happening in Weird Al-Related News.
This past weekend, Weird Al Yankovic, the co-writer of Weird Al-Gorithm Story, posted the following on Threads. Just finished writing another movie.
And then, replying to that post, Eric Appel, director and co-writer of Weird Al-Gorithm Story, posted, "Interesting," 5 N's. "So did I," thinking emoji. What a coincidence! What are the odds that both writers of Weird Al-Gorithm Story would finish writing a movie on the same day? That's just, wow, I guess the world works in mysterious ways.
Hey, wait. What if they wrote the movie together?
Whew, I don't know. I think that's kind of a stretch.
Yeah, it's not like both of them have hinted in interviews about wanting to do a sequel to Weird Al-Gorithm Story.
Wait a second. Didn't they both hint in interviews that they wanted to write a sequel to Weird Al-Gorithm Story?
It's possible. I better go get information about past episodes and guests over at 2000inch.com or weirdalpodcast.com to be sure.
Sure. On Instagram, musician Ben Bromfield has announced Weird Al will be in a brand new project.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you think this is one of the films that Weird Al and Eric wrote this past weekend?
Unlikely, as this news dropped before they posted that, and it's a series, but what is likely is Weird Al will finally make his debut on Netflix voicing an animated role.
The series is by DreamWorks and is called Mighty Monster Wheelies. It's described as classic characters reimagined as half-monster, half-truck vehicle heroes who team up to use their special powers to serve and protect the all-vehicle city of Motorvania from troublemakers like Phantom Freeze and Invisible Van.
Now, Ben's post didn't list any other voice talent except for Weird Al. So either he is the lead role, or Ben is just super excited to have worked on a series where Weird Al makes a cameo.
Only time, and maybe a press release, will tell. But until then, Mighty Monster Wheelies will be out on Netflix on October 14th.
Players of the September 14th USA Today crossword puzzle were greeted with the following one-across clue. The Hamilton blank Weird Al medley.
See, now this is why I don't do crosswords. The first clue, and I am already stumped.
This episode is brought to you in part by vegan burrito restaurant Burrito Burrito, home of the 2-pound double wrapped in a quesadilla Burrito Burrito and Wizard Burger in Albany, New York. Come on down to Burrito Burrito and Burrito Burrito your Burrito Burrito and Wizard Burger for mouth-watering loaded, dare I say beefy, vegan burgers. From Albany to Uranus, Burrito Burrito and Wizard Burger feed the hungry with out-of-this-world plant-based real food, always vegan style. Visit burritosquare.com and wizardburger.com to order ahead.
And now it's time for what's happening in Grammy Award-winning Jim Kimo West related news. The Grammy Award-winning Jim Kimo West has a brand new single that's available right now.
It's a collaboration with musician James Filkins, and the new single is called Pu Uhanua Revisited.
Be sure to purchase, download, or stream Pu Uhanua Revisited wherever these things are normally done.
As always, for more information, you can head over to jimkimowest.com.
And now it's time for what's happening in Dave and Ethan's 2008 Weird Al podcast related news.
We are once again joined by Matt Kelly and Matt Milligan from the Weird Al-Gorithm podcast.
Whoa!
We're back.
They don't even let me do my line.
I'm sorry.
We're just so excited.
I'm excited.
Well, we're excited to have you here. You have a very special episode dropping on Friday, September 27th. Can you tell us all about that?
This is a big one for us. This is the episode that we recorded live at the 2024 San Diego Comic-Con. We do our own version, essentially making our own draft version of Weird Al's TV album, where we have a bunch of guests and everyone gets to draft their favorite Al TV songs to make what they think is, the ultimate 5 songs a person batch of Weird Al's TV material. And then after that's over, you get to listen, you hear everyone's picks and we get to rank them and decide who had the best picks. And we had a bunch of special guests with us at Comic-Con because, of course, it's a very special event. And Matt Kelly can tell people who our guests were.
Well, UHJeff showed up.
Of course.
Your wife, Joey, was there.
Yes.
Jackie Rossi, she showed up.
Oh, man.
And I think that was all the noteworthy people.
Oh,
wait, and David and Ethan were there, too.
I was going to get a little upset at my wife for not telling me she went to San Diego Comic-Con, appeared on a panel with the Weird Al-Gorithm podcast, and did not invite me.
It was really weird.
I know. I can't believe you didn't hear about it.
Yeah, no, that was in her contract. When I reached out to her, she said, I'll only do it if Dave's nowhere to be seen. But I do have to shout out, I like to give a little tease on the episodes, and all of the tease credit goes to Matt Milligan and his wife, Joey, for a clip that I have played for so many people since we recorded involving ChatGPT. That alone, I mean, the drafting is great. Every guest is great, but you need to listen and be horrified by the conversation with ChatGPT at the start of this episode.
It was so fun. It was such a great experience being at Comic-Con and having you guys there, like absolute encyclopedias of knowledge about Al. So you guys came in, not surprisingly, we knew you were going to show up with picks that were beyond our wildest dreams. And you did. You absolutely did. So it's going to be it should be fun for both Al experts and novices alike. It's all represented. It's all represented.
Perfect. I know it's been a while since we've recorded this episode, but if I recall, we came to the conclusion that ChatGPT is perfect and has no flaws in it at all, correct?
Not a single one.
Yep. There's no need. Remove it from beta. It's good to go. And whatever ChatGPT tells you, you can trust it. And just know that you're getting real information. So don't worry.
Well, we cannot wait to relive our experience at San Diego Comic-Con with you guys. That was such a fun time recording it, and I cannot wait for everyone to finally hear this incredible episode that we recorded together.
Yeah, I'm so proud of everything that we did. It was the best San Diego Comic-Con panel I've hosted so far.
So people can check out that episode dropping on September 27th. We can follow you on Instagram at Weird Al-Gorithm Podcast, WeirdAlgorithmPodcast.com. And of course, everywhere fine podcasts are listened to, we can subscribe and listen to the Weird Al-Gorithm Podcast. Matt and Matt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Matt and Matthew. We cannot wait for everyone to hear the episode on September 27th.
But if you're one of those people who just can't wait until September 27th, we have some exciting, breaking headline news for you.
As an exclusive to our Dave and Ethan's 2008 Weird Al Podcast Patreon family, you will have the ability to both hear and see our appearance at San Diego Comic-Con with the Weird Algorithm podcast prior to the premiere on the Weird Algorithm on September 27th.
That's right. Intern Frank will be dropping the full video of our appearance at San Diego Comic-Con over on patreon.com/2000inch very soon.
Thank you to our friend Jeff McClellan for filming the video from his seat in the audience. And thanks to Matt and Matthew for letting us premiere the video on our Patreon prior to the release of their episode.
On the last episode of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, our very own UHJeff Nucera talked us through what he thought would be his only day on the set of Weird the Al-Yankovic Story, but let us know at the very end that he was asked back for a second day.
We are so excited to premiere this second interview we did with UHJeff following his second day on the set of Weird the Al-Yankovic Story as a background actor, recorded way back in February 2022.
We won't make you wait another second. It's finally time to hear all about it in the Weird the Al-Yankovic Story Stories, Chapter 8.
Well, we are back with UHJeff Nucera, and at the end of the last episode, he dropped a bomb that he was invited back to a second day on the set. And we're excited to hear from Jeff all about the second day. Wow, Jeff, exciting news, waking up and finding out that you get to go have a second day on the set of Weird the Al-Yankovic Story.
Yes, I had thought I hung up my 80s attire, but I didn't.
Well, I guess the big question, Jeff, is did you say yes? And this may be a very short episode, depending on what you said.
I was like, nope, super busy today. Thanks for asking. Bye. No, of course I said yes. I could not turn that down. Again, they were, shooting 2 miles from my house.
Wow.
And I just felt like I couldn't. Chloe, the cat, says hello. Sorry. Chloe was very mad that I said yes because that meant I had to leave for the whole day again.
We'd also, in addition to Jeff, we'd like to welcome Chloe to the podcast.
Yes, Chloe 62. I don't know. I don't have a joke for this. Chloe the librarian. I don't know.
Your cat.
She does have a mohawk.
Okay.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so much to Chloe's chagrin, you said yes.
I did say yes. They asked me to be at the same location at noon. And so I asked if is it the same clothes? Do you want me to bring the same stuff? And the answer was no, that it was going to be an awards show. Which Al had mentioned the day before. And so they were like, yeah, if you have any fancy 80s attire. And again, with like 3 hours notice, I'm like, I don't. I just don't. So.
And what, I just don't even know, what is fancy 80s attire? I would have no idea what that would look like.
They sent some images over, and it was like basically anything that they would have worn on Miami Vice.
Okay.
Okay.
So I, was looking through my closet. I had this like weird white jacket that it wasn't a suit jacket, but I think I wore it for like a Halloween costume once. And it didn't fit then. It fits even worse now. So I didn't bring it. And it was like 3 sizes too small to begin with, and after COVID, I am 3 sizes bigger, so it just wasn't going to be. It just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So yeah. I brought. I had like this weird black shirt. I brought stuff that didn't work, basically. Okay. So, I had some ties on me that maybe were kind of 80s, and I brought. A pair of shoes, like fancy shoes, and checked in, and the guy, the coordinator guy who was very sweet to me, by the way, the day before, when I am very patient with my bumbling. He kind of was like, "Oh, you're back." And I was like, "Yeah, sorry." He had like ended up filling out all the paperwork for me at the end of the day, because I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what a meal penalty is. I have no idea what's happening. Very, very patient, and he had a lot of work to do, and he was there longer than any of us. So I felt just terrible, but he was very nice.
Jeff, why do you think they picked you to come back? Did they pick other extras to come back as well, or was it just you?
I knew from the day before that some of the extras were coming back for the awards show. They had mentioned that they had gone in for a fitting for some costumes. One guy was saying how excited he was about his powder blue tux that he was going to get to wear. And so I was like, oh man, like I really wish I could see that. And then dreams really do come true, as it turns out.
There you go.
So I don't know why they chose me. I think I don't know. I don't know. I have no. I wonder if they reached out to like a handful of people, and I was maybe the first person to get back to them, because I did not hesitate when that message came in. I was holding my phone and just replied instantly. So it might have been just a case of I was the first person to say yes.
Okay.
Which, great.
It wasn't like
I won.
Yeah.
they went to Al and he's like, we must have UHJeff return. Or is there a chance?
I don't think that was the case.
Okay.
Because I emailed Al the night before after I got home and just thanked him again, and he wrote back something very funny about how I would be the high point of the film, and clearly, obviously, shirtless Radcliffe has nothing on me, and so the next day I saw that message and I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know why they chose me, but again, I am very grateful.
Of course.
So I got to set and checked in and went over to the wardrobe truck, and it had turned out that the person I was replacing was a woman.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so they did not have an outfit for me, which was it didn't make the stylist happy. I went over to her and she was like, oh, what's your name? And I told her, and she was looking at her list, and I'm like, I was a last minute replacement for a woman who dropped out. And she just goes, no one told me that. And she just kind of looked around and was like, I need to dress all of these other people first and see what's left over. And I was like, that's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but I have some stuff with me. And she kind of took one look at it, and she's like, yeah, you just wait over there. We'll take care of you. I was like, okay. So clearly I am not the easy person that I was yesterday.
Oh, no.
And so I waited over there for a while all of the extras came through with getting their outfits that they had been pre-fitted for. And I was very jealous of some of those costumes, I gotta say.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so many just crazy town clothes that were, very of the era.
Yeah.
Especially at an awards ceremony.
Yeah.
It's people who are going to dress even weirder than they normally would in the 80s, and so it was like a lot of ruffles, a lot of bright colors, lots more hairspray.
Oh, wow.
Boys and girls. I mean,
awesome.
While I was
cool.
standing there waiting to get dressed, waiting to be dressed, one of the background actors, actually he was an extra because he was extra mad that they had basically, I mean, he was mad that they gave him a flock of seagulls haircut.
Oh, really?
Wait, they cut it?
That's amazing.
They cut his hair?
They didn't cut his hair, but his hair was sort of like, in real life, just floppy and straight, and they teased it up to the point where he was like almost he was not almost in tears, but I think that if he was alone, he would have cried. I mean, he was just so mad, and I was like, "You look great, dude," and he's like, "I don't." And he was just so furious, and he was mad enough that he made them undo it.
Wow.
Oh, really? Wow.
And I was like, "You've got to be kidding me." He showed back up later, and I was like, "What happened?" And he's like, "I couldn't take it." I was like, "What are you doing?"
Oh, man.
Why would you care?
But they I don't know. I
so
don't
bizarre
know
to
what
me.
his problem was. I know.
I
And
would have
was
worn
like,
anything they
You
gave
should
me."
be. Oh my God! I was like, you should be grateful. Look at what I have on my head.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Ingrates. So he was. Yeah, he was not grateful for the opportunity. But they gave that haircut to someone else.
Oh, good,
and
good.
I was-
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's.
so
I
I
mean,
was
it's
very-
mentioned in Albuquerque. We have to have someone with a flock of
Yes.
seagulls haircut.
Yes, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, and we haven't said this yet, but just to be clear, we're recording this a couple days after Jeff got off the set. None of us have seen the movie yet. None of us really know what's going on. So if there is a gentleman somewhere in this movie with a flock of seagulls haircut, it's the second gentleman, I assume, that we're going to see, not the first gentleman who had a problem with it.
Correct. Yes, because the first guy, even before we got over to set, that hairdo was undone. Even the wardrobe stylist was like, "What happened?" And he was like,
Oh,
"Rawr."
no.
She was like, I could just see her rolling her eyes.
All right.
Hey, like, you'd think if someone is being like a background actor, you want to have something that makes you stand out, so it's easier to see you in the film.
I would think so.
Yeah, I don't know what
bizarre.
I don't know what his issue was. I truly don't. But I knew at that moment that I didn't want to engage with him any further because
Right.
he was not someone I needed to know.
We've given him too much airtime. We must move on.
What a spoil sport.
So how long were you waiting, Jeff, till you actually got, a costume, and what did you end up getting?
So about an hour after I arrived, they kind of had given everyone their clothes, and so I was, kind of, like I said, last man standing, and so they were looking around, and I was sort of hoping, I was like, this could either go, I'm going to get the craziest outfit because it's all leftovers,
Right.
or I'm going to get the most boring one.
Right.
And unfortunately, I wound up with the most boring one. They gave me a few like plain pants to try on, and the ones that fit were like for a much bigger person. So I literally I went and got changed in the tent, and I had to hold them up because my belt was too wide to fit through the belt loops. So
Okay.
I needed
no.
them to give me a belt, and I had to just I was just holding up the pants
man.
with one hand and my stuff in the other hand. I looked like a crazy person. Just pants halfway down my ass, and just ridiculous. So, and even while I was putting the belt on that they gave me, my pants came down. I was just oh god, this is just hideous. Just so upsetting. So I had a cream colored shirt on and a gray jacket and pants.
Okay.
They were brownish gray almost, and so I just needed a tie, and so I had brought some ties from home, and they were like, no, and I showed them a bow tie, and the stylist was like, what is this? And it's this crazy looking bow tie, and I told her that the bow tie is the one that Al designed a few years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the salamanders on it.
Right.
And she was, I was like, yeah, so Al designed this. And she goes, shut your face. I said, my face will not shut, because that is the truth. And she was like, yep, you're wearing that.
Wow.
And I was like, great. Do you know how to tie a bow tie? And I was like, great. Do you know how to tie a bow tie? Because I don't. And she was like, oh, God.
Oh, no.
So there was some work to be done still. And so it took a minute and a couple of hands, and she got it.
Okay.
And I got to wear a Weird Al designed tie in the Weird Al movie.
That's incredible.
That's so cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's very nice.
Yeah, like 30 years before he designed it. But again, I don't think time matters in this film.
Well, so I just Googled it just to get the official name. It's called the Weird Al Burgundy Bow Tie. It was sold by Tie Bar. So if anyone hasn't seen it yet, it's very cool. And
yes.
I've never even tried to tie mine. I would never even think to attempt such a feat.
Yeah, this was my first time with it. It had been in the package since I got it, and I felt like if I was gonna take it out and use it, today would be the day.
That's amazing. I'm so thrilled.
Yeah, I'm so glad you got to wear that. That's great. Nice Easter egg for people to be looking for in the movie.
Yeah, I was fairly excited about it, obviously. And so they, the reason that we got there at noon is because they had been shooting another scene all day, or all morning, I guess.
Okay.
And so around 3-ish, maybe 4-ish, a busload of other background actors arrived, all in Amish garb.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a busload of Amish people showed up at base camp. That was really funny to see. It was just like, and they all looked so good. Amish men, Amish women, just dressed to the nines, man. They looked great, including a Weird Al fan, Devlin.
Yeah, we know Devlin.
So yes, Devlin Wilder was there in his Jebediah costume.
Nice.
And so it was really fun to connect with him, and we, it was very nice to see him. And then we all kind of went back to the holding area inside of the auditorium. We were brought. All of us went over there.
All of you, including the Amish people, really?
Yeah. So the Amish
and
the '80s teams were all there together.
Interesting. Okay.
It was pretty funny.
Do you have any idea what the Amish people were filming earlier in the day?
I would assume something with Amish Paradise, but I don't actually. Yeah, I don't actually know because by the time we got to have a moment to speak, Devlin and I, the '80s team got called down to the auditorium for our time. And so when I walked into the auditorium, they were playing some of Amish Paradise. So I think there was some sort of performance. Again, there was a new, not new lyrics, but a new recording of the song lyrics, shorter version of the song, re-recorded by Al.
Very cool.
And so they ran through that a couple of times. It was not. I didn't see Daniel in that scene, so they were running it through for. I'm not for lighting cues. I think. I'm not really sure what was going on, but they had us sit in an audience, and they did something called tiling, which I had never heard of before. But tiling, basically, they sat us in the front few rows as an audience, and just had to sit there and applaud and watch the stage, watch a tennis ball on the stage, just for an eye line, and clap and react. And then they moved us a few rows back, and they shot it again with a green screen. And they, we just kept changing positions, and we just basically filled the auditorium with copies of ourselves that they'll just layer in, I suppose. Yeah, they'll tile them in, And so that was
That's
really
pretty cool.
interesting. Yeah.
So with this scene and the other scene, you're technically in the movie like 500 times.
Yeah. I am. Thank goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. And so as they were kind of doing this, this stuff, they were shooting stuff in the wings, so we had to be very quiet. And I couldn't hear what was going on out of my sight line, but I knew they were shooting some stuff. I should also mention, I'm sorry, I'm going out of order. I clearly stopped taking notes, or stopped writing down my notes. So back before I saw Devlin, I'm so sorry, I did see wandering around the base camp some celebrity lookalikes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Would you like to know
Let's
who?
hear about them. Yeah, of
Absolutely.
course.
Well, you said you saw a couple dressing rooms, so did you see those people?
I did. I saw Coolio, and I saw Prince,
Amazing.
and I saw
Nice.
Diana Ross,
Very nice.
and I saw Cyndi Lauper,
Wow.
a fake
Cyndi
Cyndi
Lauper,
Lauper.
cool.
Yes. 80s era
Nice.
Cyndi Lauper was there.
Very cool.
And she looked great. They all looked so good. Just unbelievul.
Wait, was Coolio's
and-
not 80s era, though, is he?
He is not. And again, time folded in on itself both during COVID and in this movie. There was no... I'm just unclear on what's happening. But yeah, Coolio was there among the 80s era stars.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was really funny to see.
Did he have the crazy hair like the Bad Hair Day cover?
He sure did.
Oh, that's so great.
And he was just awesome, man. He just
Wow.
looked so good. Yeah. Which by now you have seen him, and you know how great he looked. But it was just, everybody just sort of wandering around, having meals at the base camp in their costumes. It was very funny.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
Yeah. Yes. So anyway, back to the tiling. Sorry about that. So we're in the theater. We're getting tiled around. And when we get to the back of the sort of first section of the auditorium, 6 of us were pulled out, including me, and brought outside to be background workers, background actors in sort of just behind. We were behind a real scene that, again, I couldn't really make out anything about it. But basically there was a check-in table outside of the backstage area, which is where the scene was taking place, in the backstage area. And, we were just kind of told to pair up, boy, girl. I was with a woman named Monique, who was not there the day before.
Okay.
But she and I clearly fell in love. I'm sorry. There were 8 of us. There were 4 couples, including the boy in the powder blue suit.
Oh,
nice.
Yes. Monique was wearing a lovely, multicolored, glittery 80s dress.
cool.
Love it.
And her hair was gigantic and just awesome. She looked great.
Wow.
And so we were told to go up to the table and check in and sign in and, mime, doing whatever. And they had lanyards for the awards show.
Oh, cool.
And it just said music awards on it.
Okay.
And so, she was given one, and I just kind of went with her. And then we kind of had to wait on the other side of the doors, and the scene was continuing, and then we were kind of told to walk back. Just creating some action in the background,
Okay.
You might catch a glimpse of me. Unclear.
Were you seated with Monique when you were doing the tiling stuff?
At one point, yeah. I mean, every time we moved rows, we had to switch positions and switch partners and switch. They were trying to pair us up, boy girl, in there, but it was very heteronormative, and I did not submit to that. No, I'm just kidding. I just ended up wherever I ended up.
Right.
And,
yeah,
it's fine. And so when they called us up, Monique and I had been sitting next to each other at that point.
Okay.
And so, we got to know each other a little bit. She is an actual actor, and and so she was like kind of fascinated by how I ended up there.
She's like, I worked my life for this, and you just roll out of bed.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you look real close, I'm probably out of focus in the way back, next to a very multicolored, also out of focus person.
That's great.
But this was my first sighting of the new Dr. Demento.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So Dr. Demento, as you know, is being played by Rainn Wilson.
Yes.
So awesome.
And he, whatever is happening in that scene, he leaves pretty unhappily. And so, so he comes
Interesting.
So he comes out of the stage doors and kind of, just comes, comes out. Okay. And almost ran into the boy in the blue suit.
So you have no idea why Dr. Demento was so upset in running out of the award show?
I do not.
Wow.
And so
okay.
We did that a few times, and we were kind of told to, slow down and linger at the check-in table a little bit longer, and they had us kind of adjust our speeds here and there. They swapped us.
Yeah.
They swapped the order of the couples. We were initially number 3, and then at some point we became the first couple that went out. And so and again they just were like, just mime that you're checking in and slow it down. So we did. And then we were, kind of cued again to walk over and walk through the background again. And I was desperately trying to listen for any clues as to what was going on, but I got nothing.
Oh,
wow.
Did you see Daniel at all?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, but I knew he was back there, obviously. I hadn't seen... Yeah, it was weird, because I hadn't seen anyone yet that whole time, except for Rainn Wilson. And so we did that for a few takes, and then we were brought back inside for the award show. And we got... they sat us down, and this was my first glimpse of Al in his costume.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
The real Al, or the Daniel Al?
The real Al was in
okay.
Yes. Which, we were at an award show, so it was a tux, and his hair is very short.
Oh, really? Okay.
Interesting.
Yes. And another spoiler, are you ready for who's playing his wife?
Okay.
Sure.
You want to know? You really want to know?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. It's a woman named Suzanne Yankovic.
Wow. So she really committed to this role.
Yes. So yeah, they were. Al was in the front row as his character, one of the Scotty brothers.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know which one, but he was there, and Suzanne was right next to him, and it was really
very
funny
cool
to see them, and the people around me did not know that it was Al.
Oh wow.
And so so they were kind of talking, and they were In fact, Monique was telling me about how she had gone down a rabbit hole the night before and watching some of Al's videos, and I was like, just be aware, like he's 2 rows in front of us, and she's like, where? And I'm like, him. Like, it's him. And she's like, oh, I did not know. And not that she was going to trash him, but I was like, I could see this going south real fast by accident, just in case. I just needed to, like, just needed to warn her.
Now, looking at Al, I know he was in, the original Funny or Die video. Did he look the same as in that one, or was it a different look?
It was a different look, and I don't know if that's because he cleaned up for the award show or just because they're, trying to be truer to what a Scotty brother looked like. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, because in the video, he's got like a goatee, or not even a goatee, just a triangle,
like a weird patch.
Yeah. His hair slicked back. Okay, so it looked different.
Yeah, no, he had like a almost like a game show host head of hair.
Okay,
because when I saw him earlier, it took me a minute to like, oh, that's Al. Okay, I didn't recognize him at first either, but. At one point, one of the background actors, they were like, they were like, did this really happen? This stuff, and he was like, no, Al's never won a Grammy, and I was like, how dare you? And so
oh no!
I was like, actually, he's got 5 Grammys. They're like, oh, and I'm like, but also none of this happened. So
right.
So the awards show was cute. There was like an acceptance speech, and that's where I really saw Daniel speaking as Al kind of for the first time, and I really was just again blown away by the mannerisms. I can't even put my finger on what it was that was striking me, but he really did have. He was Al. Like I don't know how to express it other than he really has very clearly studied Al of that era, and really did a very nice job of becoming him.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a darker kind of bizarro version of Al, but it is
right.
There's something in there that is indefinable, and it is Al, and it really shows you why he was cast. I think. I mean, I know that people were really just like, what do you mean Daniel Radcliffe is Al? Daniel Radcliffe is a teeny tiny wee actor and doesn't really look like Al, on the surface, but he really is so good, and it just cemented for me, like, oh my God, yeah, this was absolutely an amazing choice. Which I kind of, I'd always thought, but I was, it was very confirmed, seeing it in action. It was just, I can't say enough about it. Like, he just was so Al, but also, again, this bizarro Al. It just was like, man, this guy's got, he really is very talented. Not that I didn't ever think that, but like it was really cool to see it in person.
Yeah,
very cool.
Wow.
And just it was like a fever dream in a way. Like I was just like, God, like what is this? Like what is happening? like it really was. It was really cool. It was just really cool to see. And it was funny. The scene had a Coolio was in it.
Nice.
And again, the eras didn't quite make sense. And the blue suit kid even mentioned it, and Al was like, yeah, it's kind of anachronistic right now, but you know, it'll all make sense. And we're like, okay. Like,
Oh, I'm so excited to see how this comes out. That's
me too.
Just, I mean, I'm trying to picture what you're describing. I mean, again, we haven't seen the movie at this point. This is just a couple days after you shot this scene when we're recording this. But I'm trying to picture like what you're describing, and to me, it sounds so wacky, but it sounds like it's totally gonna work, and that's what I love about this is that it's like this makes no sense, and I love it.
No, none of it makes any sense. Like, I left the set that day more confused than ever and more excited than ever. Like, I'm so excited about this thing, and it just is so strange. And I do have there was one more thing we shot.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of brought us back in to you know, fill the seats again for this, and as we were brought in, Daniel Radcliffe was on stage kind of running through the lines, and as I'm listening to it, I thought, oh, I think I'm seeing the end of the film. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it was not the same awards show or anything like that. It was a different scene. Mm-hmm. And he's reading these lines, and I was almost getting emotional because it was a thing. And I know the movie's out now, but it's not out now. So
right. It's out for anyone who's listening to this, but it's not out for in real life while we're recording this.
And I will give you some stuff, but I'm going to withhold because I really feel like that's the right move.
Well, can you tell us what you were doing without revealing the scene?
Yeah, so I was sitting there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I was sitting there. It was a different, like, it was a different show or something.
Okay.
I don't even really know.
Are you still wearing the gray suit and the bow tie?
Yes, we are all in the same costumes, but
Okay.
they're shooting kind of from the behind, so you can't see that it's all, the same set of people, I think. We're all in different spots now. And
is Weird Al on a stage, or is he just...
Yes.
Where is Weird Al situated? Yeah.
So Daniel is on stage, and he's giving this really poignant speech, and it was really like, it was just lovely. It was just lovely. And then they ran through it a few times, and then they started running through it again, going deeper into the scene, going further and further down the page, I guess. And then it got weirder and weirder and weirder. And it just kind of never stopped getting more and more crazy. And
oh, wow.
And then I was like, what actually is happening? And again, all of this like crazy stuff starts going on. And the woman that was next to me at that point was like, yeah, I think this all happened. And I was like, none of this is true. None of this stuff happened. Like, you have to stop believing this. Because she's like, I want to look this thing up that was clearly on TV. And I was like, no, this is not a thing that happened. I can promise you that this is straight out of Crazy Town.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
So excited.
But yeah, so then, they ran through it for camera, and it was this really funny, really sweet, and really out there thing. And I think it's the end of the movie, you guys.
Wow.
And maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like a dream sequence or something. I don't know. But it really felt like a punctuation mark.
Wow.
Okay.
And if it's a period or a semicolon, I can't tell you.
I'm excited to see where this scene comes in the movie, and if it is the ending scene or if it is just another scene in Al's life story, his made-up life story at this point. I'm curious to see. So, but thanks for sharing that, and thanks for thinking of us, because we're Ethan and myself, and you also are going to want to watch this movie and soak in as much as we can when we first watch it. So, I mean, while we are sharing a lot of spoilers on this podcast, it's nice of you to think of us, on something where we might not want to be spoiled.
Yeah, and I feel like this is it's a pretty special scene. So I'm certainly not disappointed that I saw it, but as it was happening, I was like, I don't know what to do with this, and it was really. It was very special, and if it is the end of the movie, I don't want to be the person who ruined it for anyone, especially you guys, because I know how important this film is to us all.
Yes.
And also, Al's excitement when I saw him the day before, he was very much like, I don't want to spoil anything. I want you to be surprised, and I take that with me for especially for this culmination of the journey that is Weird, the Al Yankovic story, perhaps.
Indeed.
Wow. So you got there around noon. When did you end up leaving for the day?
Around 11 p.m. It was not nearly.
Oh wow!
It was not nearly the 14-hour day that we had the day before.
Still, I mean that's
crazy.
That's later than we got out.
Yeah.
And think in mind, too, Jeff, you got there at noon, but you said they were shooting that morning as well, so they may have started as early as 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So for them, it was a 12 or 14-hour day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Al mentioned that they were doing 18 shoot days, which is just, that's crazy. That is crazy. And I said as much to him. And he was like, yeah, but we're really, just very, they're being super efficient, and this is part of, Al was saying how great of a director Eric Capel is, and that is part of it.
Yeah.
They're doing 2 or 3 takes and then moving on. They're just getting it, and getting done. So they're they're just cranking through it, and it's based on the 2 days I was there, they're killing it.
Wow.
It is so good, and I really I cannot wait to see this thing put together. I just am so excited.
Oh.
Yeah, us either. We cannot wait.
Well, everyone listening right now has seen it, and they know how great it is, and they're getting a glimpse into the past of super fans talking about how great it's going to be, and everyone listening knows how great it is. I'm jealous.
Oh, there was one more celebrity lookalike. I forgot to say. At the awards show, back at the awards show, it was Diana Ross presenting with Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
yes. I love it. Hulk Hogan.
Was he in his cutoff shirt and Hulk looking?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh
okay.
yeah. There were biceps everywhere. Like we're going. Wow. He's got the drowned seal mustache.
Oh, it's so exciting! And that how 1984 is that? And Hulk Hogan, he's the
pretty
height of his career at that point.
Yeah, and at one point, I didn't see what the Cyndi Lauper character was doing. I just saw her wandering around. But when they wrapped Hulk Hogan, he had Cyndi Lauper come over and they took a photo together because they were very together in the 80s. Not as a couple, but just as performers. So he was carrying her for a photo. And
that's so nice.
Hopefully that gets shared at some point.
Oh, cool.
I love it. Did Hulk Hogan rip off his shirt?
He did, yes.
He did?
He did, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, lots of shirtless dudes for me. I really picked the best days.
I have to ask you, Jeff, who looked better without a shirt, Hulk Hogan or Daniel Radcliffe?
I gotta go with Radcliffe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty astounding. Yeah, it was pretty astounding. The Hulk Hogan it seemed like they had just spray tanned him all day long. It was so funny. Like, it's so cartoony.
I love it.
And at this very moment, in February of 2022, there are exactly 3 actors listed on IMDb for Weird the Al Yankovic Story, and one of them is Radcliffe, and one of them is Hulk Hogan, and the third guy is some other person who I didn't see.
Oh, how awesome!
Oh, I love it.
And the Hulk Hogan guy is in Righteous Gemstones. As part of the God Squad. Okay. So he's this big hulking dude, which is why he's the Hulk. Why he's Hulk.
Of course. Wow.
Yeah. It is wild.
So did you notice any Easter eggs? I know, like for Dave and I, we noticed on a guitar that was used in one of the scenes we were in had a 27 written on it on a piece of masking tape. Did you notice any kind of like weird stuff like that?
I did not see that, but I was looking. So you won. You won. I mean, the Tour of the Universe lanyards were pretty great. And I feel like that was just for us. Nothing else is sticking out as far as that goes for me. But I did have my eyes peeled for little stuff like that.
Cool.
Maybe Al's tie is the only Easter egg from that day.
Maybe.
And it's on my neck.
Nice. 500 times.
So, Jeff, one thing we always ask our guests, who've worked with Weird Al, on screen in any capacity is, during their shoot while they were filming, did they happen to take any souvenirs home from the set on the day that they were with Weird Al? So I'm asking you, did you take any souvenirs home?
I did not take any souvenirs home except for lovely memories. I really wanted to swipe one of the Tour of the Universe lanyards, but they were taken back by production after they wrapped for the day. I was hoping I could sneak off with the music award, quote unquote, lanyard, but also taken back by production.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they were on it, and there weren't many other things for me to kind of try to steal, because we were like in an audience, and there was no, like, I'm not gonna walk out with the green screen that's like 30 feet wide.
Well, your Weird Al tie is now a screen worn Weird Al tie.
It is indeed, and that will be exciting for the people listening only.
Now, Jeff, is this the point where you reveal you went back for a third day?
Normally, yes, but no, unfortunately,
No, okay.
that was not the case. It was a 2-part one and done experience.
Wow.
Well, they are still filming, so there's a chance that you'll get called back. There's a chance that Dave and I will get called back, but we'll just have to wait and find out.
Yes, there are, by my calculations, 7 more shoot days to go.
Okay.
So if I get called back, I will of course let everyone know immediately.
Excellent.
After I finish vomiting. It was such a wild couple of days, though. It was so fun.
Did you get to talk to Al at all on day 2?
I didn't. He was very busy, and we were in the same room a bunch, but it was during the tiling where I couldn't, just sneak off and say hi, because we were just getting moved around always, and then he was up on stage trying to, talking to Eric, and so he was very busy. I didn't get to really see him. I was 2 rows behind him during the awards show, but the woman directly between us, her hair was the biggest hair maybe on set that day. So I feel like you're not going to be able to see me at all.
Oh man.
Now, Jeff, do you think that Al knew that you were there on set the second day? I mean, obviously he knew you were there the first day, Do you think he knew you were there the second day as well? Because you were unexpected to show up there.
Yes, because I did email and just say, hey,
okay.
I just so you know, I'm not just like showing up like with just randomly now. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But it was a very busy day for them. Like I said, they were shooting some sort of Amish experience that morning, and then this awards thing, and then maybe the end of the movie.
Wow. I can't even imagine how Amish even fits into the movie. Like
none of it makes sense.
I
don't know.
All will be revealed in hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll make sense even when it is revealed. But I'm here for it. Can't wait.
Did you happen to see The Rock anywhere? Dave and I are still holding out that The Rock will be cast to play the role of Dave and Ethan.
I did not see The Rock yet.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we still got apparently 7 more days of shooting for a Rock appearance to show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep your eye on the Daily Mail. They seem to be having a lot of luck with spoilers and like weird casting.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Or they already filmed the shot of the Dave and Ethan characters. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, Jeff, any final thoughts on your time working as a background actor for Weird the Al Yankovic Story?
It is undoubtedly the highlight of my career so far. I really, I am so excited. Like even just to have been able to be there and look at what was going on, and to just be included in a crowd was even extra special for me. So it was so awesome. I can't get over it. Like 13-year-old me's head would have exploded into a million billion pieces.
Yeah.
What? Like my buddies from high school and college, I was texting them and I was like, I am on the set of a Weird Al movie and I'm going to be in a Weird Al movie somehow. Like, it's so strange.
It's not like there's 27 Weird Al movies. This is the second one. There's 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in half of all the Weird Al movies.
Yes. Does The Complete Al count as a movie? I feel like this is like
I think it does. Sort of.
This is like The Complete Al on crack. Like, I don't know. It's like the completely drunk Al. Like, I don't know what. Like, it's another amazing, almost true life story, but just times a billion.
Well, Jeff, once the film does come out, we'll have to have you back to tell us, where to look to see you in the film, or if we can see your shoulder or anything like that.
Yes.
It'll be very exciting.
Yes. Oh, yes. I look forward to being 4 pixels high somewhere in this film.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us, Jeff. This is just, you know how excited Dave and I already are, and we know how excited you are.
Yes.
So it's just, it's just adding more fuel to the flame. How excited we are.
It just, I was very overwhelmed, especially the first day. I was just like, I can't believe this is even happening. Like we're getting another Weird Al movie, and I can't believe I'm on the set of this Weird Al movie. and then at the end scene, I was like, the first run through, I was like, oh my god, I might actually cry. Like, it's so it's so poignant and so amazing. Wow. And then it became Crazy Town, and I was like, okay. It was very cool, and I don't know how. I don't know, but it's gonna be great. Wow. And it already is great somehow in our timeline.
Well, Jeff, thanks again for joining us, and we'll have to wrap it up here. And like I said, if you get casted again, let us know.
I will absolutely let you know. Yes.
A mega thanks to our very own UHJeff Nucera for recording this with us 2.5 years ago.
Next time you're watching Weird Al Yankovic Story, keep an eye out, because Jeff can be most prominently seen as a looky-loo fan in the mob of press outside the jail as Weird Al and Madonna exit.
And if you really squint and use your imagination, you just might be able to see Jeff like 14 times in the crowd shots of the award show, plus in the background, backstage, during the award show, following the Amish Paradise number.
As always, Jeff is the director and producer of a documentary currently known as Showgals, about the incredible story of Tight and Nerdy, the all Weird Al burlesque troupe.
Please do us and Jeff a favor by visiting beartobestupid.com to learn more about the film and see how you can contribute so we can finally see it.
This episode is brought to you in part by Discover Darwin, promoting tourism in Darwin, Minnesota. Not only is historic Darwin, Minnesota beautiful, it's also regal.
Early last week, the Darwin community had its 11th annual Meet Your Neighbor Night Out event.
Citizens gathered in Schoolhouse Park for a free meal of hot dogs, sweet corn, and root beer, all provided by several local groups, including the Darwin Lions Club.
In other news, a pride of lions is loose in Darwin, Minnesota.
No, it's not that kind of lion or pride. It's one of those clubs that serves the community.
Or maybe it's one of those clubs that try to eat the community.
Anyway, Lion's 14-year member and past guest and friend of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, Josh Johnson, said, "We typically serve around 200 people, so it's a great way to meet people."
He then roared at the top of his lungs, and it could be heard for up to 5 miles away.
I don't think Mayor Johnson is that kind of lion, nor does he have that kind of vocal range.
He said they severed around 200 people and then tried to eat them.
Served 200 people, and I think that's rather nice.
I could smell the cooking of my mother.
So visit Darwin, Minnesota on your next Meet Your Neighbor Night Out event expedition. Discover Darwin, more than just the twine ball. And after you visit Darwin, Minnesota, be sure to attempt to visit www.discoverdarwin.bzz.
Dave and Ethan's 2000 Weird Al podcast is brought to you absolutely free thanks to our incredible sponsors, Burrito, Wizard Burger, our very own Jackson Scoggins, Discover Darwin, and our very own Kenneth Crazy Ken Gwinnett. Our podcast is also supported by everyone else in our Patreon family, with special thanks to our very own close personal friend level Patreon supporters, Scotto Brothers, Zeb, Allison, Dana B. and Beaker, UHJeff, Adriana Banana Yugovich, Casey Killingsworth, Javier, Blair, Ajax, Kev Messick, Zach Casper, Weird's Dream Date Nancy, Gus and Alicia, Matt T., Devlin, Ron. Also thanks to Matt's Wood Turning, Richard Green, the Jaffa family, Dustin Jablonski, and Tony Goldmark, as well as everyone else in our Pretty Stinkin' Majestic Patreon family.
If you enjoy our Pretty Stinkin' Majestic Weird Al podcast, as heard in the Weird Al Yankovic Story commentary track, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/2000inch. There are awesome benefits like getting your name read on the podcast, your own private RSS feed, which gives you early access to each and every bonus episode, and the self-satisfaction of doing something important with your otherwise pitiful, meaningless existence. Plus, Patreon supporters will be the very first to see the video of our panel from San Diego Comic-Con with the Weird Al-Gorithm podcast, available early for our Patreon family. And don't forget to check out our official merchandise over at shop.2000inch.com. All proceeds from purchases go directly towards supporting our fine podcast.
We love hearing from our listeners and other Weird Al fans, so be sure to join our Facebook community over at group.2000inch.com, and make sure you visit our Discord server for even more riveting Weird Al and Red Rump the Goody related conversations. You can find both of them linked on our website, as well as information about past episodes and guests over at 2000inch.com or weirdalpodcast.com.
Keep up on new episodes, podcast news, and events by following at 2000inch on Facebook, X, Threads, and Instagram. And be sure to subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a single episode. Not only does subscribing help the podcast, you'll have a better chance at finding a Canadian nickel beaver side up next time you go to the Toronto International Film Festival. Plus, we also love it when we receive voicemail via our official, patent-pending, 27-hour-a-day podcast hotline, 347 Spatula, as seen in the Illustrated Al, the songs of Weird Al Yankovic. That number is 347-772-8852. Give it a call or a text, and you might even hear your message in a future episode.
Thank you once again to our very own UHJeff Nucera for joining us to record this episode 2.5 years ago. Also, a big thank you to Matt Kelly and Matthew Milligan from the Weird Al-Gorithm podcast for joining us this episode. We'd also like to thank Jeff McClelland and our very own Claire Walsh. Thank you to the Grammy Award-winning Jim Kimo West for our incredible podcast theme song. And thank you to Weird Al Yankovic, as this podcast probably would not exist without him. Thank you also to John Bermuda Schwartz, Steve J., Ruben Valtierra, Jay Levy, and the irreplaceable Joe Jaffa. And a big thanks to all of you, our loyal listeners, subscribers, Patreon supporters and sponsors, and everyone else who makes our podcast possible.
Thank you for choosing David Ethan's 2,000-inch Weird Al podcast. And until next time, remember to gill and chill, keep listening to Weird Al, and stay cheesy.
Let's assume, hypothetically, that the movies that Weird Al and Eric Appel said they wrote were a sequel to the Emmy Award-winning film Weird the Al Yankovic Story.
I admit it's a bit of a stretch, but I'll agree for the purpose of this exercise.
Okay, so you know how Weird Al was murdered at the end of the first film? How are they going to resolve that?
Oh, I've got it. 2 words.
Oh, yeah?
No, not those 2 words.
Well, what 2 words?
Tough bikers.
That was Dave and Ethan's 2,000-inch Weird Al podcast.
Episode 244-inch.
Past episodes and guests at WeirdAlPodcast.com.
On this episode, we continue our Weird the Al Yankovic Story bonus series. On this episode, we continue our Weird the Al Yankovic Story bonus episode series with Day 2 from Jeff from the set. J2. Oh, jeez. On this episode. Sorry about that, guys. On this episode, we kick off our. On this episode, we continue our Weird the Al Yankovic Story bonus series with Jeff Nucera on his second day on the set.
Well, welcome back, Jeff.
We are back with...
Oh, go ahead, Dave.